Hey guys, I've been struggling figuring out how to actually start this video. Pineview Reservoir might be the most known place to go carp fly fishing in Utah. And it is a great carp location. So I went out, and I don't go there very often. This is the only trip I've been up there this year. So anyway, I kind of want to introduce you to Pineview, those that haven't been there. Pineview is in Ogden Valley. Pretty easy to get to along the Wasatch Front. Beautiful canyon, beautiful lake. The problem with Pineview is, now bear with me here. If you imagine Pineview, now I'm doing this from my perspective as a heterosexual male. If you imagine Pineview as a beautiful woman, right? And experiencing Pineview is like trying to become intimate with this beautiful woman, right? So you want to become intimate with this beautiful woman. The problem with Pineview is the same time you are making this attempt, there's 42 other dudes doing it at the same time. That's Pineview Reservoir. It's just a great carp, beautiful valley, good fishing. There's tiger muskie, there's bass, crappie, and a crap ton of people. Tons of surf boats, giant waves smashing you all day long. It's loud, people blasting their music. So if you're looking for peace and serenity, Pineview is the opposite of that. So I don't go there very often for that exact reason. It's a fantastic carp fishery. And like I said, tiger muskie and all the other things people go up there and chase. I don't even go up there and do it. Because when I go out and try to enjoy the outdoors, I don't want to deal with all the people. So that's just my perspective on it. Anyway, I think it turned out pretty good. Pineview, it's a dam that was built back in 1934. Most of the water is used for irrigation for the Ogden area. There's canals that get diverted kind of north and south coming out of Ogden. A lot of the water that comes out of it is ultimately what I end up fishing for further down into the Ogden area, in Willard Spur, Willard Bay. There's some canals in that area, and then out into the Ogden WMA. Anyway, the whole thing is a good carp fishery. Now, the carp up in Pineview are mirror carp. There are no common carp that I know of. I've never seen one up there, so it's a 100% mirror carp fishery. They tend to be a little smaller. 5 to 7 pounders are pretty common. You hit 10 pounds, you're doing really good up there. They don't typically get, at least that I've seen, much bigger than that. I don't actually know why. I don't know if it's a temperature thing, but they don't get real big, and they are, like I said, just mirror carp. And this particular trip, I'll kind of go over what I did and how I approached it. A lot of the carp were in kind of a weedy area, with lots of reeds and stuff like that. So you were trying to work it in real close to them. And when I'm working it through weeds like that, I do actually like to have a little bit heavier fly. So typically where I would use a mono eyes or faux pearl eyes on my flies. For these, I was using small dumbbell eyes, the lead or the lead equivalent dumbbell eyes. I don't go with very big ones. I still don't like real heavy flies, but I do go heavier because it's easier to kind of drag it through the weeds and stuff like that. Now, one thing I did try, which I don't do, and it reaffirmed why I don't do it, is I had weed guards on my flies. And at the very end of the video, I have a couple clips that you'll be able to see where the fish eat. And I threw them in there just because it's a cool eat. But I didn't hook the fish, and I probably had 4 or 5 like that. And the only thing I can figure is the weed guard. Because as soon as I pulled that weed guard off, I pulled it in and clipped them off, put it back out, and the next fish I hooked. And then, I hooked 3 or 4 more. And landed them and had no issues. But I had 4 or 5 in a row with the weed guard on my fly, and I didn't get them at all. So yeah, you kind of see here how close it is in these weeds. You look at my rod, it's like dang near right above it. This is kind of like dapping, if you've ever done dapping, where you're basically just holding your rod above where the fish is at and kind of getting it down in position in front of them. So you can get real close. Pineview actually has a lot of areas on primarily the middle inlet and actually I don't know it's the south inlet. It goes up South Fork, so Middle Fork and South Fork, so it'd be the south inlet. Those two inlets have really good wadeable areas if you go up there, and you can dodge the jet skis and the surf boats and make it out into the flats. There are lots of good wadeable areas to go up like this, and honestly, fantastic flats. Just like I said, drives me crazy the amount of people and the blasting music, and I don't know, it's not what I like. But anyway, cool. You can get close to them here. A little bit heavier flies if I'm fishing in the weeds like this. But yeah, this is a good trip. Middle inlet, south inlet, both good places to go to wade fish if you guys are looking for a spot to go and wade fish. Like I said, I would avoid it on the weekends if you could. But honestly, it doesn't matter. I've been up there on like a Wednesday at 10 o'clock and there were 4,000 people on the lake, it felt like. So I'm not sure you can get away from people. But anyway, I'll shut up. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm going to try to do more like these in different areas just to kind of help people find locations around the state that offer good carp fly fishing. And I'll try to explain, which areas that are wadeable, which areas you probably need a kayak or a sup. Anyway, well, this one here is pretty cool because I'd spotted this fish quite a ways away, and this is a classic tailing carp, right? Where you can see this fish is basically 45-degree angle, head down, creating that debris cloud or soot cloud, the mud in the water, a mud. Cast out past him, dragged it back across his head, dropped it in there, and I couldn't see the fly there. So, I was just doing little short strip sets there, which a lot of times you'll see that I don't do that. I do a trout set, and there's different times that you want to do a trout set versus a strip set. He was far enough away from me. My rod tip was low at that point because I dropped the fly, you do the drag and drop, you pull it over, you drop it in, you pull your line, slowly till you get it tight, and you're in the area where you think the fish might be feeding, but you can't see. Your line's tight now. That's a good opportunity to do a strip set. So, you keep doing short. I usually do like a 1-inch little strip. And maybe, I don't know, 1 a second, just strip, just little strips until you feel it. And then you're going to give it a good foot and a half strip set, to seat that hook. So that's what happened there. Now, again, you'll see a lot of times that I trout set on these. And again, the trout set, right, that's your normal, typical, you're out trout fishing, you lift the rod tip to set the hook. And there's advantages to one or the other in different situations. And I don't always do it right because I go back and forth on what I'm doing. But the general idea is that if your line's not tight, the strip set's not going to do you any good. If you're doing a drag and drop, and so I've pulled that fly into place, it's coming down, you're releasing all tension on your line so that fly will flutter down, right? So I pull it in, keep my rod tip high, I drop that rod tip. So now I've got all the slack in the line, and the fly starts sinking down, and the carp eats. Well, a strip strike at that point isn't going to do any good. You're not going to get all the line. I mean, you may, but you're going to have to go like 4 feet. So in that situation, you kind of strip strike, right? You're pulling the line with your strip hand and lifting the rod tip. In order to get all that line tight again and set the hook. So you do need to do both depending on the situation. But that was a classic strip strike scenario. So that's pretty much it for this week. Again, Pineview Reservoir, really good carp fishery if you can avoid the people and You know, maybe wear some headphones or something and play some nature sounds, and it'll make you feel like you're not in downtown Salt Lake City. I exaggerate a little bit. It's not that bad, but I get frustrated with the amount of music blasting and the giant surf boat waves hammering me right as I'm going after a fish. You know, anyway, it is a good area. Middle Inlet, South Inlet. I've actually caught them up on the North Inlet as well. It's just not real weightable. It's a lot stickier. I don't, just the sediment that's in that area. It's hard to wade. So good area if you have a kayak or a sup. Not so good if you got to go wade it. But there's a ton of carp. You know, if you guys have any suggestions on places you want me to go do a video on, let me know. You know, if it's an area I'm not familiar with, I'll go try to learn it and see if I can make a good video on how to approach that area. I'm gonna try to avoid doing areas that are real small, real specific. I have a few kind of secret locations that I have in videos that I know other people know where they're at, and that's great, but I'm not going to advertise those because it's just such a small area. There's not a lot of carp in those areas, and it would only take, you know, a couple of bow hunters one good afternoon out there to decimate the population. So I don't want to share those for that reason. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.